Yep, here I'm going to talk about the stop motion, which, yeah, I've just basically just finished now. It's all kind of put together and composited and things like that. So this is going to be, I guess, a fairly long post talking about it and things. I'll be interlacing it with footage and stuff like that. Just kind of explain what I've been doing, and then yeah, just give you evidence and examples of that I've done it, basically. Um, so yeah, we've got the finished model the other day, and that's really looking nice, really good looking. Yeah, fits in very well. The detail's just the right level that it's going to fit in with the obviously the HD footage from the DSLRs without looking too out of place. Yeah, I'll show you a picture of the model, which will probably be appearing up on the screen now. Something there, and yeah, basically, so since we've had that, we've Alex and I put together. We built a green screen set, which was essentially just out of a cardboard box and some green paper, which I then lit with desk lamps and stuff. So it's kind of the thing with the green screen. What I've learned with it is the best way to kind of save yourself time and get a good piece of footage that involves green screen stuff is you have to light it well to start with. That's one of the things I was told, I think, in the first year. And that's the way you need to light it is if you imagine you've got your green screen set, which is back here. Let's imagine, say, my face is where the green screen set is. You're going to have the model in front of it, which is just, say, here. So you've got the green flooding the background and things like that. So you've got green surrounding the entire thing. You need to light the green screen background without lighting the actual subject, and this is so that you get a nice even green on the background, so that so the computer registers what's green and clears it, essentially stopping it from flooding onto the model. The reason the lights have to be behind the model is what happens otherwise is you get what's called flood, and that's where the green light off the background reflects onto the model, and obviously as soon as you take it into key light, what happens is it starts removing the green that's attached to the model, so you get like a patchy thing that just isn't what you want and doesn't look neat. So yeah, so I got it all lit and stuff like that, and then what? Yeah, I began animating. I shot it on Alex's 550D because my Canon 600D was it's been broken for a while now, so I used that along with just a standard kit lens that came with it, and I put together the footage using the DSLR essentially as a remote camera, and shooting from a program called Dragon Frame Stop Motion, which is, as far as I can tell, seems like an industry standard piece of kit. And basically, what it does is it allows you to shoot to the 25 frames a second that you need, and allows for kind of what's called onion skinning, where it will kind of show where the previous frame, the position of the model in the previous frame and stuff like that. So it allows you to get much smoother movement and things. Yeah, it was really simple software to get working with. I'm sure it's a lot more in depth when it comes down to it, but for the purposes that I used it for, it was essentially it allowed me to put the raw footage on the background, like the stuff that we'd shot of the two hunters and the two main characters kind of standing there, and then the spears coming through, and then sort of fighting off the monster and stuff. By being able to kind of lace this in on a low opacity in the background, it allowed me to it allowed for a much easier point of reference, so that I could actually make the troll look more like it's reacting to what's going on in the actual shot, as opposed to just kind of disembodiedly waving around and not really doing what it needed to do. Yeah, no, the other thing that's kind of the animation was an incredibly time-consuming process. I definitely overestimated how difficult how well I underestimated how difficult animation can be. I think I sort of took for granted that it is in itself, animation is very much a skill, and I think as such that kind of shows. I think with the deadline and stuff like that, I'm definitely going to be giving it another go over the summer. But for the purposes of the piece at the moment, in that it's a pilot episode and stuff, I think it comes across really nicely. I think it's on for the amount of time that it's on screen. The animation is, I think, more than adequate for it. So yeah, if the point I'm at and talking about it now is that I've finished finished animating it, and I've got it all as one raw clip with the green screen background and stuff like that. So the next step in it was taking that footage, the basic green screen stuff, putting it into After Effects, and I'll probably lace over a clip of the what I've actually done with it in After Effects after this. But essentially what I did was I masked around the shape of the troll, because the green screen set was slightly too small to fill out the entire camera, but it was enough to surround the troll with green, so we couldn't. So it made it easier for me to isolate the troll and get rid of the green and stuff. I did that through the first step I did was masking around the troll to kind of minimise the amount of stuff that the After Effects had to remove and fix the alpha channels of. And then once I'd masked around the edges, I had to do a little bit of animation on the masking, just for where the troll's moving its arms and stuff like that. By animating it just meant that it wouldn't pop out, like a hand wouldn't pop out of shot like that or something. So then I used a program called Keylight, which is an Adobe plugin specifically for green screening and stuff. Really, really nice, intuitive piece of technology that kind of isolates the green and allows you to just tweak little parameters and stuff like that, and kind of account for any flood or anything, which as it turns out we didn't particularly have much of a problem with, to be honest. I'd lit it quite nicely, so if I do say so myself, which allowed me to make the actual process of getting that raw footage of the troll, just doing its movement on just an alpha channel background, so there was nothing to work with aside from that. And then when it came to compositing it into the footage, what we worked with, I've probably got a couple of drafts to show you of it actually, but what I did was, after a bit of help from one of the lecturers, what I did was I had a animated light, because in After Effects there's a 2.5D, you can essentially get pseudo 3D space in it, and as such there's lighting settings which essentially work like a spotlight would in Maya, but on a 2.5D surface. Use this to actually light the thing, because obviously the part with the troll in is going to be set at dusk, so by putting like a fairly subtle intensity spotlight on it, it allowed to kind of, the lighting looked a lot more natural than when I was playing with the exposure and stuff, which just wasn't yielding the results that I needed to make it look like it was part of the footage. So aside from that, I played with, had a bit of a go at colour correction and stuff. I've kept a hold of the raw After Effects files since rendering them out, just in case, because with Deck being our resident colour corrector, I've got to get him to have a quick look and just see if there's any little bits of tweaking that he can do to just give it that extra bit of fitting into the footage. So yeah, like in terms of colour correction, I played with just simple stuff, like I reduced down the saturation, slightly played with the levels a little bit just to make it darken out the colour, or bleach out the colour to make it look slightly more like it's part of the footage. So yeah, all in all, what I'll do is I'll at the end of this, or in another post that I'll put in another video that I'll put in the same blog post or something, I'll show you bits of the footage maybe, or indeed just refer you back to the final piece once it's done, to have a look at how it all goes on in there.